This is the Hunter Gun Vault GS 3026. It's 66 inches tall, 30 inches wide, 26 inches deep. That's the body. The handle sticks out about an extra inch and a half, so it's about 27 and a half total depth. And quarter-inch steel plate door, 10 gauge, fully welded body. And now there's two options. One is you can have a Sargent and Greenleaf combination dial. This one's set up with a Lagarde 3000 keypad. The batteries are on the back of the keypad there. There we go. And what you'll do is to put in your code. This one's just set on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unlock the door, and you'll see the back side of the door has the live bolts. So there's 5 3/4 inch diameter live bolts that span the door. So they're, try and show you, they go right across the door. So it's not little cut bolts all held together with chicken wire or something. These are, they go right across the door, so when you unlock them, they all slide to the one side. When you lock them, they all slide back into lock position. And that provides strength so that you cannot pry the door, because the door, there's 5 live bolts, as I say, going right across the door. The door itself, there's a side profile, so that's a 1/4 inch plate. Then there's this frame built around it. The frame also provides rigidity, so there's no prying of the door. And then the door frame itself, so the body, as we mentioned, was 10 gauge, and it's all fully welded here. So it's all fully welded, all the tops, bottoms, everything's fully welded and ground down. So it's not just tack welded together. Now that 10 gauge, what we do in order to provide more rigidity, even to the door frame, is every time it's bent 90 degrees, it provides extra strength. So there's 1 bend here, 2 bends, 3 bends. So those 3 bends provide a lot of strength to the door frame. So when you combine that door frame and the structure of the door, that's what gives the strength of the gun vault there. So we'll look at the interior. There's many different options, especially for the larger models, because they are a bigger safe. So there's more room to kind of play with and have different interior options. This one here is the 18 gun split. So all of our safes, just so you know, they're all 66 inches tall. A lot of the other ones on the market are 60. Ours are 66. And that means that there's 2 top shelves. So there's an extra, room at the top for ammunition or handguns or whatever storage you like. And so all of these shelves, they're all adjustable here. So they're just lifting up. They're just held on clips. You can see that there. And the pilasters, different sizes. So this one has a, as I said, an 18 gun. Now, you'll have to kind of stagger things if you have lots of scopes. So sometimes an 18 gun won't hold 18. We just call it an 18 because there's 18 notches. If you're storing, shotguns, you can get 18. If you're storing things with large scopes, then maybe not 18 guns would fit in here. You might have to stagger some or get a different interior. It comes, these are the side shelves here. There's concrete anchor bolts in the bottom. And so the safe is 100% steel construction. We no longer do fire lining. We used to do fire lining. Interesting, we stopped about 10 years ago. The reason is twofold. One is that the fire lining causes moisture problems in the safes. So with our safes, we don't have moisture problems. With the fire lining, there is moisture problems because it's basically drywall, and when it's open on a hot summer day, it absorbs all that moisture. Then you lock the door and you're closing in all that moisture in with the guns. And the nature of that drywall is also an acidic material, so that moisture is an acidic moisture. It will cause much corrosion much faster. So we stopped doing that for that reason. Second reason is, now we've been making these since 1986 here in Hamilton, and over that time, which is well over 30 years now, we've only had a handful of cases where there was a fire. In both cases, the insurance company came to us to replace the safe, of course, and one was a Fireline safe and one was not. The problem was, in both cases, the safe was in the basement, and there's about a foot of water in both safes, and that's why they wanted it replaced, because it damaged what was in the safe, and also up to about a foot or so. But that's the water and from putting the fire out. So it wasn't the flames at all that will damage the inside product. It's the smoke and water damage that happens during the fire. A lot of times the safes are in the basement, so they're not anywhere near the heat, but the smoke and water damage will destroy contents of the safe, especially if it's sitting in a foot of water. And that happened both with a Fireline safe and with a non-Fireline safe. And the reason why it can happen is with the fire lining safes, what we do and what everyone else does is we put a heat expanding seal around the door frame. But that heat expanding seal will not expand if there's heat. If there's no heat, for example, if it's in the basement, it will not expand. And also it will not expand even if it does expand, it's not airtight, it's not watertight, so you will get water. If there's a foot of water in the basement, you'll have a foot of water in your safe, whether it's a heat expanded seal or not, whether it's a fire safe or not. So there's really no way around that. Another question that we do have is lighting in the safe. We don't supply lighting. A lot of people will get those pop lights and they'll put them underneath the shelves. They can get those from a Canadian Tire or hardware store. Also, IKEA makes a nice product that can be lined. It's for their wardrobes. Some lighting that happens when you open the door. The lighting, there's a sensor and the light comes on inside the safe. That looks real nice. Again, that's all aftermarket stuff that we don't supply with the safes because customers have different preferences. There's hundreds of different options to choose from. We couldn't stock them all. Another question we get is on the back of the door. Can you hang a pistol holder or something like this on the back of the door? You can. So the door, here's a side profile again. There's this is the back panel, and you can hang, get clips that will hang any sort of hanger on the back of the door. Again, we don't stock those. There's 100 different variations, and we couldn't keep them all in stock. And even if we did, you'd probably want the one that we didn't have, and we'd have to order that. Now we'd have 101. So it's just something that those aftermarket customizations, that's something that customers like to do themselves. Lots of different options. We couldn't carry them all. We do have a couple different things that we do carry. The dry rods, which is a dry to keep the moisture out of the safe. Again, our safes don't have moisture problems, but if you're putting the safe in, say, an unfinished basement where you definitely know there are moisture problems in that room, then it is a good idea to put something there as an insurance policy. But under general circumstances, if you're putting the safe in a finished basement upstairs or ground floor where there are no moisture problems, you will not have moisture problems in the safe. There's nothing in the safe to retain that moisture. So I hope that answers all of your questions. The logo is optional. A lot of customers do like the logo. Some don't like to advertise what's in the safe, and that's totally fine. We definitely understand that. So without the logo, you just have the front of the safe with no logo. And again, with the combination dials, there's the digital lock or the combination dial lock. The digital lock is $195 extra. The combination dial is standard and included in the pricing of the safe. Sargent & Greenleaf makes the dial lock. They're used on bank vaults, and the reason why is because they're so reliable. The last thing you want to be doing is drilling open a bank vault, so they use the most reliable lock they can find, and that is the Sargent & Greenleaf combination dial lock. The digital locks that we use, they are Legarde digital locks. They are top of the line. This is the 3000 keypad. It's basically bulletproof. 20 years from now, this keypad's still going to be working. It's not a residential keypad. This is a commercial grade keypad, which means it's not designed just for using once a week, or it's designed to be used and opened 10, 20, 30 times a day. So it's designed very, very strong, very durable. And you can change your combination easy with the digital lock. That's the main feature. But again, if you like the dial lock, then go with the dial lock. About 90% of what we do for the gun vaults is combination dial locks. 90% of our business is cash safes, dispensing safes, deposit safes, where they use the digital lock just because they need it in and out of the safe 10, 20 times a day, and they just like the convenience factor. But in terms of security, they're both top of the line. In terms of durability, they're both top of the line. I recommend both, but it's up to you, customer preference. If you like the combination dial, stick with that. If you would like the digital, if you think you'll be getting in and out of the safe frequently, digital's for you. But again, it's more of a thing for cash safes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We will do them on other products and the different sizes of the gun vaults. But again, one thing to note is with the GS 2016 to the GS 2420 and the GS 3026, there's 5 live bolts that go right across the door. On the largest safe, the GS 3626, there's the live bolts on one side, but on the back we do a deadbolt strip, and the reason why is because the bolt work just gets too heavy to turn from the handle on the front. You really have to reef on it because there's so much heavy of that bolt work. This is on the 3026. This is the largest size that we do this bolt work running right across the door because it's just on the cusp of not being difficult to turn with the handle. But once you start adding, an extra however many pounds it is for the larger size, then you start getting, it becomes much more. You need much more leverage to turn the handle. Also on the back of the door, I probably should have mentioned earlier in the video, but these are built like a cash safe. So they have on the back of the door, the lock's protected by a drill-resistant hard plate and a spring-loaded relocker. What that means is if someone were to attack the safe and they were to, destroy the lock and try and punch it out, well, if you try that, there's a little spring-loaded pin behind the door that will fire into the bolt work. So you could, punch the lock off the back and side of the door, but it's not going to help you any because a spring-loaded pin will fire into the bolt work and will relock it. That's what a relocker is. It will lock the door that way. And the drill-resistant hard plate protects all of that happening in the first place because you can't drill the door because your drill bit will burn out or break on that drill bit behind the door where the lock is mounted. So these are just some features that you won't find on kind of the offshore products and that you won't find on a lot of the gun safes or gun lockers that you would find in different stores because they're not built with that heavy-duty cash safe in mind where ours are, and that's why we use those different features like the drill-resistant hard plate, the relocker, and the top-of-the-line commercial-grade locks because we don't want to be using a cheap residential style lock. It might save you a little bit of money, but it's going to save you. It's not going to save you any money in the long run because you'll have to replace it. And likely, when you have to replace it, you'll have to drill open the safe, then replace it. At that point, you might just consider replacing the safe. That's why it's best to start off with a quality lock in the first place. So I hope that answers all your questions. If you do have any, you can always send us an email to info@canadiansafe.ca. Again, info@canadiansafe.ca, and we'll be happy to help with any questions that you do have. But yeah, enjoy and let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to help. Thank you and have a great day. Goodbye.